Everybody, I am Jim Gast, and welcome to the Reboot. I am joined today by some really awesome dudes. Guys, I'm going to let you say hi.
Hey, Brandon Bowers from Eisner Managed Technology Services out of sunny South Florida, and that is true today.
I'm not liking you very much here in Cincinnati.
Hey, I'm Dave Groot with Windstar Technologies, and I am in Culpeper, Virginia. Couldn't tell you if the sun's shining or not. Don't know.
I actually enjoy you. And joining us via satellite, David Luft.
Straight from Area 51.
We
Can't
don't
hear
have
you.
no volume yet, David. But that's David Luft right there. He's in Santa Fe, New Mexico, right? And he looks
hmm
like he could be from Area 51, all alien and stuff. Well, listen, today, we thought we'd take a little bit of a different approach today and give you, as a business owner, some information to help you make a really important decision. And that is what you should pay for IT support. As you probably know, if you've watched the show or listened to the show, all of us on the show own our own managed service providers. Now, they call them MSPs, but really, what does that mean? It's a little bit of a different meaning for every company. But generally speaking, we are outsourced IT support companies, is what we are, and we provide a multitude of services. Dave, do we have your volume yet? Just want to check you. Dave left. He might be coming back in, going out. David left. Can you hear us? We don't say something so we hear you. Don't have you on volume yet. Don't have me on volume. So anyway, we are a managed service provider owners, all of us, and so the topics we talk about are very near and dear to our hearts. But we often get just so you know, Dave Groot had to leave and come back in. Dave left, so you might have to do that. And so what we thought we would do is help you evaluate what you should be paying for your IT support. David Luft happens to say because we can't hear him, maybe he's not paying enough for his IT support.
Probably not.
Probably not, David. IT providers don't pay enough for their IT support. So, guys, I wanted to start this off by talking about the different types of IT support that's out there. That's the first thing we should talk about. And then I would like to hone in on, what we recommend to businesses and why we recommend it. So I'll just throw it out there. There's what time and materials, aka break fix. There's managed IT services, and then there's software vendor supplied or supplied IT services, right? And so who wants to break down the idea of break fix and what the pros and cons of it are?
Well, I think everyone hopefully should know or have experienced break fix at some point, because that's like the most common what you'll see out there. And break fix is simply that something breaks, they fix it, and they bill you for that time. It's also considered T&M or time and materials. So whatever time they put in, they bill you for that time. I mean, there are some, technically speaking, inherently good things about that, right? Because you're just paying for what you use, right? So the thought of that seems like it should be a good thing, until we start talking about some of the benefits of a managed service plan. But um, they fix something, you pay for the time, and that's it. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less.
That's
So
it.
yeah.
Pros and cons to that. And a lot of people don't understand, why should I spend money ongoing for IT support? I give an analogy to all my customers. If you had a trucking company, right? Would you just fix your trucks when something breaks? Or are you maximizing your return on your investment by keeping those trucks maintained, right? So that's the analogy I give. Do the oil changes, change the wiper blades, don't let the tires go too bald. You know, somebody keeping an eye on that stuff. What do you
Not
guys think about that?
not only that though, it's a matter of mindset and business alignment. So what's the benefit for the break fix guy? You'd have more issues. He's going to make money when you're losing money technically, right? Because if
Yeah,
you're down or having an issue, you can't function.
yeah,
So, I mean that it's a mindset change in terms of how you think about things when you look at when we talk about the pros of the other options, but you don't have the same mindset. You don't have the same ultimate goal, because when you have issues, they're going to be more profitable. And is that what you want? I mean, I don't think so. And the same thing goes to what you said. So maintenance plan, and the same goes for everything, right? Look at your house. Like, you do maintenance on your AC, you do maintenance on all these different things. And the whole reason that you do that is so you don't have a major meltdown issue in the future. Just putting in that little bit of money monthly, quarterly, or whatever it is will help you save thousands ultimately, right? And I think it goes the same in like every business type, your car, your house, every big investment you have.
You're right.
Yeah, I
The
think
other thing for us too is customers that are, paying us monthly. We're going to put them at the top of the list when they call in.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
They get priority support.
That's
So-
a stark reality.
if your company is a company that has maybe 1-2 computers and they're really just something that are there on the occasional need to check an email or go read a newspaper or something along those lines, then okay, break fix is fine. If you're a company who's counting on your technology to continue to keep you in business and make you grow and be more efficient and competitive against the people who are out there trying to take your business, then you need somebody who's going to work proactively on your front.
Mhm.
There's no motivation for a technician or for an IT company who's under a break fix contract to make any proactive decisions, and nothing calls out ahead of time because I need to wait for it to break before I can get paid if that's the model that you go with.
Yeah.
On top of that, you can't have resource allocation from your IT provider if it's feast or famine. They don't know what to plan on, they don't know who's coming, and they don't know when there's going to be a busy time. If you're not doing that in a staged process way, you're running your company into what is considered technological debt. And at some point, you will need to get out of technological debt. And the way you do that is to pay money,
A lot,
a
generally
lot of
speaking.
money.
And I say it often when I run into customers that are potential customers that have been on break fix plans, and I say, unfortunately, because you have not maintained X, Y, and Z, it's going to cost you a lot of money now to bring that up to par, up to speed. So yes, you may have saved money all those years, but you're paying the piper today.
You didn't get away with it. I
Nope.
mean, the bottom line is you've suffered as a result of that. You just are not able to tangibly put your hands on where or why.
Yeah.
But you have been bleeding money for years.
Yeah.
It's not been being spent on a computer.
Every
It's been
time,
being spent in inefficient use of your employees, taking longer to get a project done, not getting a project done, all of those things.
every time that HP 20-year-old laser jet dinosaur that actually never breaks down, but takes 30 seconds to a minute to get your print job done versus that, you've
What do you
lost.
mean? It's 30 seconds to a minute to get it to start.
No,
print
but
the
you've
print.
lost money. And as a business owner, if you're looking at that as, oh, well, I have a fixed employee cost, then you're not really thinking about it the way
That's right.
you should. Okay.
The other two pieces to that are, a lot of people try to maintain their own equipment. And if you're maintaining your own equipment and that's not your business, how could you be making your business bigger? And I don't do my own accounting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Time is
I don't
money.
do my own dental work either,
What is the dollar figure there on your time per hour value, right? What can you make in that hour versus just paying someone else to do it? I think that's one thing. I always think of it in like the 3 Ps. One is productivity. So, hey, by swapping out these SSDs or doing this proactive maintenance, am I making things faster and reducing friction for my employees? So maybe instead of losing 10 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day, they're losing 5. So all of a sudden, like, you start shaving off time in all these different places that you don't think about, right? That's one thing. Another piece is protection. If you're not doing these things for a long period of time, you've got a potentially larger potential for a breach or for some major catastrophic event where now all of a sudden you have to spend a whole lot of money. And then even if that doesn't happen and you haven't been buying anything for a long time, potentially you have a major hardware refresh project now that has to happen that could have maybe just been done in small budgetable increments rather than all of a sudden now having to throw down thousands to tens of thousands of dollars all of a sudden.
Depending on your contract with the IT guy, you could actually have one where they install new computers for free. It's just part of your contract. Yeah. And the other big piece is when people try to do stuff themselves, they don't know what they don't know. And they are really leaving big holes for people to get through. And it's just not as effective as it needs to be.
And you know, there's one more thing that I'm going to talk about. You might have fixed employee costs, but the fact of the matter is that you as an individual, as a business owner, you do not have fixed time. There's no such thing, right? And you can only utilize your time doing things that help you, and you shouldn't be doing things that stress you out more. And I point back here because I got my printer back here, right? If I'm having a printer problem, do I want to spend hours trying to work on that? Forget the opportunity cost. Forget the cost to my business. Think about the cost to your life, the stress, the anxiety, knowing that you got 3, 4, 10 people that can't print to that stupid printer and they're stressed out about it because they're trying to do a job. So by trying to not pay somebody that will take care of it, you are adding stress to your life and basically taking minutes off of your life. I don't want to take my work home with me. I don't want to think about it when I leave the office. I want to come in. I want to do what I need to do to grow my business. I want to deal with the stresses of growing my business, not with the stresses of my technology. Fair enough?
But the problem is some people like that kind of stuff and they think they're good at it, but they're not.
Yeah. Oh, I do it because I like it. But do you
especially in this day of cybersecurity, where if you have holes in your, in your hardware or software, it's going to be a big problem if you don't have your networks configured properly, or, you guys.
Let's move over to that. I think so. The alternative, one of the alternatives. Well, let's kind of go to the next one. Software vendor supplied IT services. I can call support anytime I want from Microsoft.
Well, I don't think we even clarified. We jumped around it and touched on it, but just to be clear, so you got break fix, time and material, you got managed service or fixed monthly fee or something like that, where, hey, you pay a monthly fee and depending on that vendor, it's usually call it sort of all you can eat. Like they're gonna monitor stuff, they're gonna proactively do some items, and different vendors do different things, but you just call when you have an issue, they take care of it, you don't worry about it, you move on with your day.
Yeah. And then you've got software supplied IT services. So if you have an online service, you can call their support line, or if you have a piece of software, you can call their support line, or an ERP or a CRM or the list of an accounting system. You can call them when you have help. We don't even really touch on that one because that one isn't really a competitor to what we do. Would you guys agree?
But the important thing,
it's not even comparable.
No, it's not.
Right.
It's
the important thing is that you have it as a layer for the other two, because not every IT provider is going to be an expert in every piece of software. And so if you're using SAP or NetSuite or one of these other products and you have no support, I mean, people need to be able to reach out to that vendor to adequately support you.
You need vendor support. Absolutely.
I call it, it's tool in the toolbox of the other two plans is what I call it.
Here's the deal. The vendor support is very important when it comes to the vendor's software. But the vendor only cares about their software.
Yeah.
They do not care about your business model, your compliance needs, your regulatory, any of that. They do not care. If you call a support desk for a software vendor, they're going to fix the problem in the software, even if it means giving everybody top-level administrative privileges across the whole network. And look, now it works. Have a nice day.
Or blame it on some other network
thing.
You need some.
Because every software company that we've worked with, when they do their shares, they just make it open to everyone, not even domain users.
Yeah.
They just open
enable guest account, give everybody admin rights.
Yeah.
David said.
So if you don't have your network set up properly, then patients that are in your waiting room on your guest Wi-Fi have access to all your patient data for everybody else.
They are applying the same practice across the board to every single customer when your needs may be different. All right, let's move into managed IT services. So managed IT services, managed service providers, MSPs, whatever you want to call I think you defined it really well, Brandon. It is some type of all you can eat, or it's generally, in my opinion, a base level. Almost every MSP will have a base level of tools that can include security, that can include maintenance, that can include remote access tools. Almost always have a baseline of tools, and then either have an hourly factor or an all-included on-site or remote support factor. Um, included. You guys, that's a good way to kind of look at it, you think?
From a high level,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now, I think you now, I know that we're not like that. I know that you guys are not like this either. Okay. But that might be it. Hey, we're going to provide your antivirus. We're going to provide remote access. We're going to provide, patching software. And then, we're going to provide a certain level of making sure that those things are working all the time, that the way that they should work. Because that's what we're doing. We're managing them. Okay. And then many of them are going to have some type of, okay, we're going to manage all these tools, but then we're hourly for this, we're flat fee for this, block hours for this, whatever. All you can eat, all hours. A lot of our plans are unlimited. But then we get into that next level stuff, right? That outsourced CIO, director of IT, advisor, so on and so forth. I think that that's the value of most managed IT provider, managed IT services, MSPs, is that I have a problem. I'm thinking about what do I do? You guys agree?
Well, that's the best value for a qualified
Yes.
managed service provider that they can provide you.
Yeah. It isn't that they're making sure my antivirus is working. It's they're making sure that you need a new antivirus because the one that you've got isn't ranking in the Gartner quadrants anymore. It's failing for everybody.
Well, and then they can also tell you your business case, why that's not working for you in your vertical or your needs or whatever other reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully any managed service provider worth their salt is doing the technical things, at least at a minimum, right? But where you get the most value is those that are starting to bring things to the next step, where they're trying to understand your business further, some of your business processes further, and figure out, well, what can we do with technology to either better protect the business, reduce risk, increase productivity, help with sales, help with accounting, and everybody always says this, a partner, everybody's selling, we want to be a partner with you, but truly being an extension of the business, versus just being a vendor that is providing IT support.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the IT relationship is in a perfect position to be that go-to trusted advisor. And I say that because they have, unfortunately, just the nature of IT, right? As they have insights and access to things that most people would never come across. Even if they're not trying to look at things, they at least get an understanding of the business flow and how those processes are being used and so forth. And that's where I think somebody who really can understand, the operations of a business and then how technology can be used to improve those processes, that's where business owners start to win, right? I mean, that's where they start to say, oh my gosh, we have a terrible market for hiring right now. If I can just squeeze a little more juice out of the people I have and not make them work harder and not just try and figure out a way to efficiently pull a little bit more out of everybody, we can make this happen and we can move past that. And so, those are just the kinds of things you're going to get with somebody who's educated and who's devoted to the process of IT in business.
I'm going to throw this out there, though, and I'm going to be the devil's advocate. I'm going to play the business owner that doesn't think that this is beneficial to them. I've got a beauty salon, and I've got 6 chairs in my beauty salon. All I need is a computer just to book appointments, right? And so so that's an argument that I hear sometimes, things like that. We're not complex. We're not, there's not too much terribly going on here. But if you take a step back, I think somebody that's a partner with a business, not just a vendor, an extension of your business, they can tell you some of the things that you can do to get more business. Hey, what about online bookings? What about accepting cash instead of just taking cash? What about integrating it so that your customer can pay online and get text messages and so on and so forth?
I think if it's done properly, And it's, you know, if you look at case study after case study, and I have started to put some of this stuff together, but you can come into a company and you can literally say, if you follow the steps that I recommend, and you are not like a, you know, you're realistic and you're like, this is the process, right? You can literally pay for your service through just the improvements in efficiency. So let's get off the conversation of cost and price, because you're already paying it. You're just not sending it to me.
Right.
And so we just, you know, like, I mean, that's the difference. And I'm not being smart, but like, what if you could just pay half of what you're losing every month to me and keep the other half for yourself?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be okay? You know, and so I'm not being smart. I'm being very, very, very serious. You know, I know it sounds silly, but it's true.
The sad truth is many business owners don't look at it like that, right?
Yeah.
And
they just look at the hard cost a lot of times.
I'm writing a check for that much money, you know? That's all I care about. And if
I wasn't before.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't even
I've
look
made it this far. Yeah.
It's okay
all
for
the
me
stuff
to
that they don't look at all the stuff we're adding in there too, like the antivirus, Office 360. They don't look at all the product that they're getting with that too, because we had one customer when we started with them, like, oh, well, that's about what they're paying me, because their IT guy was retiring, so they went with us. And I'm thinking, well, that's not what they're paying us, because a lot of this is product backups.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're kind of running out of time. So I have a question. Like, when somebody is looking for one of these providers, like, how should they be charged? What do you guys think is the best way? Because you see per user, per device, just.
I want to say one more thing about managed services, and then I'll answer in my opinion and what we do. Right, a managed service providers their goal is to maximize their margin on your account. Okay,
of course,
margin that they're making on you. That's their goal. That's not a bad thing. That should be every business's goal. Okay. But if you think about it, it's in their best interest for you to never have a problem, because they're typically giving you a flat fee. The more work they have to do for you, the lower the margin goes for them. So therefore, they need to find that equilibrium between what do I need to do so that things don't go wrong and that they're secure and that I can maximize profit, versus break fix. I want you to have problems because I make money when you have problems. That's the differentiator. Now, Brandon, there's so many different ways to do it, right? And it really depends. One question I have for you guys to kind of go along with it: should you charge by user? Should you charge by computer? Should you charge by network switch, firewall, Microsoft 365 account? I mean, there's a multitude of ways to do it. I happen to do it by computer and server and firewall and wireless access point. I don't charge for switches, but some people might.
Yeah, my go-to is just trying to make it as simple as possible in the future. Game of averages, like, you might have a couple extra devices, you might have a few less. We traditionally now try and go per user, if we do just per computer and not bake in a whole bunch of other items. Only reason why we might align with per computer on certain packages is if they have a lot of software that they need for a compliance requirement that bases all of their licensing costs on a computer. And then that's where, margins can be an issue.
Yeah.
Well, we actually do it both ways. We charge per device and per user because our software is charged that way. And that helps keep it as accurate as we can get it for the pricing.
Yeah. There's also a consideration to be made. One thing about managed service providers is that if you're going to go out and you're going to yourself get your own antivirus, as an example, as a business owner, you might be charged $4, $5, $8 a license for that software per month. Managed service providers are getting that software at bulk discounts and managing it under a single pane of glass and helping you benefit from that lower cost of that software, because volume speaks volumes.
And when you go buy the antivirus software yourself and you install it yourself, you can count on the fact that it's not working correctly. It's not monitoring and alerting you when something's going wrong. And there's a good chance it's not even being updated and maybe not even running on certain machines.
There's a good chance it's a home edition.
You got it for a better price.
No centralized monitoring or anything like that.
The old line, we back up our own servers. We change those hard drives out every day. Well, I hate that line right there. I cringe when I hear it because
well, the next question is, well, when's the last test been done?
Oh,
have you test restored?
We did a restore to file 6 months.
I don't think you did. Show it. Let me see.
That's the thing. You have to. managed service providers are validating and verifying because it is in their best interest to do so. The bigger the problem, the more money they lose, not the business owner. Customer service. Would you guys agree? Top most important thing. And do they answer their phone live, right? Do they answer the phones live? How long does it take for somebody to call you back and schedule and get working on a problem? Important?
For sure.
Yeah. What is now response time is an important thing, and everybody defines it a little bit differently. Okay. I will tell you how we do it. We have 1 hour. Now, calls don't always get 100% answered, by a live person. We're probably at about 95%, right? But when that call is answered, it doesn't mean we're going to have somebody work on the problem right away, because we're juggling a bunch of things, but we prioritize. Some people go right at it. Do you guys have the ability to go right at it for someone?
It depends on the issue.
Yeah. We treat it kind of like walking into the ER is how we kind of teach our new customers. Like, you're having a heart issue. Okay. Yeah. You're going to be seen right away to the cardiac specialist. Let's get you in.
Yeah.
You got a little sprain. You might need to wait in the waiting room a little bit longer to get through triage. So we triage every ticket that comes in, every request that comes in. And if something is higher priority, it gets, more immediate response time.
That's exactly the way we work as well. And if it is that ankle sprain, you're not going to have to wait in our waiting room. We're gonna schedule it with you.
Yeah.
So that you know what to expect, when to expect. So you just don't know. I'm sorry, you're just not in an abyss of lack of information.
Yeah.
So, okay. What about should that be written in and guaranteed in your contract? Service level agreements?
Yeah, sure. As a customer, I would like to see that.
Yeah, right. So I think service level agreements, should be something that's discussed. Break fix, good luck, right?
Yeah, best effort.
Chasing after the next dollar. What about regular meetings and regular ways to talk about improving things? Should that be included in a managed service package?
I mean, definitely shouldn't be paying for it.
Yeah, I agree. I actually tell our prospects and customers, I'm going to tell you everything I think. Whether you decide to do it is up to you. It's your checkbook, and you're not hurting my feelings. Now, if you tell me that you don't want to do backup, I'm going to tell you you're not going to be my customer.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, there are some things that are just no-goes, and really it's because if you're going to choke my neck over something, I want it to be something I really legitimately did wrong as a managed service provider.
Right.
Something I had control over. What about insurance? Do you think a managed service provider should have insurance, or even a break fix IT person?
What's
insurance? The client needs insurance as well.
What'd you say, David Luff? I love
the insurance thing you're talking about.
Insurance thing. Well, first off, there's liability, right? You should have a liability, professional liability. You break something in somebody's office. A mature IT provider will have that. But an even more mature IT provider that is providing a level of services would probably have a cyber liability insurance policy for themselves that also covers the customer in the event something goes wrong. I believe that that's a very mature managed service provider. Anything to add on that, David Groot? That is your favorite topic.
No, I think you did a fine job. And seeing as how we're on the top of the hour, we probably have to call it a day.
This conversation will flow so well. Well, we've got a buyer's guide. And so what I'm going to do is, if anybody wants it, if you want the buyer's guide, it's got some information. I think the point of today is it's not really about the price. I will say that our plans are anywhere from $75 a computer to $150 a computer, depending on options involved in that. You guys could throw out your numbers if you want to, but you don't have to. Anybody taking on that one?
A similar range, I would say.
About the same range as what you got.
Yep. And I will say, if you don't have a contract with us, and you are doing we're $195 an hour for break fix stuff if you don't have a contract, at a half day rate for us. And so if you have a contract, it comes down significantly from there. So, well, guys, I'm going to put this offer out there. If anybody ever wants to get the report that we have for what to pay for IT services, put a comment in the podcast, put a comment in any YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. and we'll make sure that the closest one of us to you will send you their version of it. Fair enough, guys?
Perfect.
All right. Again, I think the topic, the reboot on this is it's not so much what you pay, it's what you're paying for is really key. You know? And I've heard this line, and we'll end on this. I thought this was a great line. This dentist I'm working with right now, he said, they don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. Doesn't that apply for us?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a
I'll
lot,
buy
guys.
that.
This topic obviously could go on and on. There's more.
Oh, I mean, my goodness.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Again, Reboot every week on Wednesdays at 1:30 Eastern time. Looking forward to seeing you all next week.
All right. Y'all
Thanks,
have a
guys.
great day.
See you later.
Yep.
Take care.